how can you create, as a mindfulness teacher, your own version of a mindfulness course or bring creativity into your mindfulness class, and at the same time know that it's an evidence-based approach and that it will most likely work for people in the long term, not just because if you feel it works in that little mini class, but because it's based on evidence-based principles. So you know that this has been tested many, many times with many people. This is the Teach Mindfulness podcast. My name's Shamesh, and I'm really excited to share in this episode about how ACT, which stands for Acceptance and Commitment Therapy or Acceptance and Commitment Training, and because of the way they've done the research, it actually totally transforms the way mindfulness can be shared in the world, I feel. So traditionally, mindfulness has been shared through research on 8-week mindfulness courses, which developed in the late 70s, 80s, 90s. And even at the National Health Service here in the UK, it was called MBCT. These are specific, very, very specific programs in mindfulness where you have to do a specific thing each week over 8 weeks. And they've tested it with groups of people and they found that it worked with these careful trials. But with ACT, Acceptance and Commitment Training, they did a different type of research, which is radical, I feel. Rather than researching this course or this workshop or that workshop, they researched the underlying processes. What are the processes that transform human beings and help them to flourish and create a rich and meaningful life? And through careful studies, at least 3,000 or more now, that just keeps going up and up, they've discovered these 6 processes: acceptance, cognitive diffusion, which is unhooking, transcendent self, which is becoming like the observing self, being present in the moment, which is what people think of as mindfulness, opening up to your values, becoming clear what makes your life meaningful, what direction do you want to go in, what makes you feel alive, and then the skill of actually taking action, creating habits of action, which have greater and greater impact on your life. These 6 processes, if you bring any 1 or 2 or more of those processes into a course and you're developing those processes in a course, you can call it an evidence-based course based on the research they've done on ACT. So you don't have to specifically research every single course that everybody makes before you know that it will be effective. So now the mindfulness training programs that we offer, it's kind of loosely touching what these traditional 8-week courses do. But rather than saying you must stick to this and you must teach it in this way and this is the exact way you need to guide a meditation, it needs to be this long. No, we don't need to do that anymore, I feel. Because of this research, we encourage huge amounts of creativity. If a teacher is into mindful movement, they can bring that for all their classes. If someone's into art, they can bring that in. If they have their value which is linked to the environment and nature, then that could be very much brought in that way. So the values of the mindful teacher can shine through into the classes, courses, workshops, events that they create, and they can say it's an evidence-based approach if they're understanding these mindful principles, these ACT-based principles, and are bringing it into the course. Because we know from the research that if you develop greater acceptance, which is about allowing, opening up, making space for feelings, if you teach the skill of unhooking from thoughts so the thoughts don't dominate you, so you're not just trying to force positive thoughts, but you're learning to create a distance between you and your thoughts, which I've taught some in previous episodes. If you learn to shift to different perspectives, so you don't just see things from your perspective, but see things from a bigger picture, being able to step in another person's shoes, being the observer of your experience, connecting with the sense of pure awareness, being flexible and fluid and voluntarily being able to move your attention in the moment, that's going to be transformational for you. Being able to open your heart to your values and understand, okay, maybe this is, being creative is meaningful for me, or justice is, or the environment, or whatever it is for you, and then taking action on that. Any one of those is evidence-based, and we know that it's going to be effective for people. So you can start unleashing more creativity in what we share with others, and it becomes more meaningful for the mindful teachers too. So, I'm so excited that we have this, large group of mindful teachers we've trained now that are bringing lots of their own energy and their creativity and their values and finding a way of sharing mindfulness that's meaningful for them and therefore meaningful for the students that they work with as well. And that's what we're trying to take even more to the next level with our other communities as well. So thanks a lot, first of all, for listening to this. I'd be interested in your thoughts from what I'm sharing here. I don't think I've shared this in this form before. And then if you're not part of our mindful community, and if you are a mindful teacher, check out teachmindfulnessacademy.com. It'd be great to have you there. This is exactly what we're doing and cultivating more of. See you in the next episode, where we're going to talk more about actually what is psychological flexibility. What underlines ACT is increasing psychological flexibility. So we'll be exploring that in our next episode. Drop a review if you can, and see you in the next episode.